As the deer panteth for the waters, so my soul it longeth after thee. In you alone are my heart's desire, and I long to worship thee. In you alone are my strength and shield. To you alone does my spirit yield. In you alone are my heart's desire, and I long to worship you. Good morning, everybody. As the deer panteth for the water, so my soul it longeth after thee. In you alone are my heart's desire, and I long to worship you. And you alone are my strength and shield, God. To you alone does my spirit yield. And you alone are my heart's desire, and I long to worship you. Alone are my heart's desire, and I long to worship you. Oh, and I long to worship you. And I long to worship you. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Well Station. Brother Ricky, your gracious host for this next hour as we get this day going on good. Excuse me. And I'm doing a little bit better, and I appreciate you all praying for me. Still coughing some, not quite out the woods, excuse me. Not quite out the woods, but this tea and this sea moss, that Brother Harold suggested. And I put in some ginger root in it because a gentleman told me at church to get some ginger root. So I put that in here. And thank God I'm doing a little bit better and a little bit better and a little bit better every day. So thank you so much. Let me say hello to some of you all first. Forever Young, good morning to you. I am Lloyd. Good morning to you, Janine. How are you, dear? La Saint, good morning to you. Romy, good morning to you. Can't Match ZL, good morning to you. Good morning to you, Lavera. Good morning to you, dear. I believe that's Benford here. I believe that's you, Lavera. Good morning to you. Good morning, Peculiar Ariana. Good morning, Sister Joyce. How are you, dear? I'm gonna call you when I get done from here, Joyce, to see if you'd like to get together today. Good morning, Brother Eddie. Good morning, Queen NJ and Melvin. Good morning to you, Mardon, if that's correct. If that's correct, or Mardon. Good morning to you. And good morning, Berlin, and good morning to you, Beverly, as well. So I want to talk to you guys today, or you kings and queens today, about this idea. Yesterday, we talked about how the fact that you are unstoppable. Today, I want to talk about the fact that we are unstoppable. We are unstoppable collectively. Why? Because we are citizens of a kingdom. And this kingdom is unstoppable. So because the kingdom is unstoppable, because we are citizens of it, that means that collectively we are unstoppable. The reason this is important for us to know is because when we get ready to engage in an endeavor, if we do it together, we are unstoppable. That's the way God created things. God says two is better than one, and a threefold cord is not easily broken. In fact, this is what Jesus said about who we are. He said this in Matthew chapter 16, verse number 18. And Jesus, it's Jesus, the master talking. He says, I say also unto thee that thou art Peter, and upon this rock I will build my church, and the gates of hell shall not prevail against it. So you say, Ricky, I'm doing my best. Good morning, Lester. How are you, my brother? God bless you. So you say, Ricky, I'm doing my best. I'm giving my best endeavor, excuse me, to be all I can absolutely be. But what? I'm catching hell. Okay, that's okay, because the gates of hell should not prevail against your endeavors. Why? Because you're in this kingdom. And when you get inside of this kingdom, the gates of hell don't have no power over you, don't have no power over me. It didn't say the gates of hell would leave and that the gates of hell would not try. It didn't say that the gates of hell wouldn't wouldn't give it an old college try. It didn't say that all hell wasn't going to break loose. The Bible doesn't say that. It just says that the gates of hell shall not prevail against you. What does prevail mean? They ain't got no win. Are you picking up what I'm putting down? They ain't got no win. The gates of hell ain't got no win against us. Why? Because we citizens of the kingdom. And it's been established, written already, that we fight in a fixed fight. Are you listening to me? I don't like luck. Okay. When I was in the streets and hustling, I played games that you couldn't win. Why? Because we studied that stuff all day and we trick people for a living. The Lord saved me from that stuff. So now what? So now when I'm talking to you, I'm just giving it to you straight up, no chasing, about how to guarantee your success in life. I don't like wondering and guessing whether I'm gonna be successful or not. So what do? You do things that are principled, and then the principle guarantees the success. And one principle is that what? We have to work together. Are you listening to me? Listen to what Jesus said in Psalms 133. He said, behold how good and how pleasant it is for brethren to dwell together in unity. You're trying to build a fortune, trying to build a kingdom and all of that by yourself. You are breaking principles, and those principles are going to work against you. They're not going to work for you. The beautiful thing about a principle is that it cannot fail. You can't see a principle that's written in blood. See, the principles of the Bible are not written with an ink pen. They're written with the finger of God, meaning that they're written with blood. They are covenants, and a covenant cannot be broken. God can't break his word. Why? Because he wrote it with his own blood. He didn't write this covenant with an ink pen. I don't know about you, but I don't like dealing around with old little flimsy folk who change their mind every 15 minutes. Old bipolar people change their mind every 15 minutes. And we got an agreement now, not all of a sudden we don't have an agreement. I'm going to do it, and all of a sudden I'm not going to do it. See, that's not the way God is. See, God don't write bounce checks. Are you listening to me? When God writes a check, it's written in blood. It cannot bounce. Are you digging what I'm saying? Because why? Because God is not a man that he should lie, or the son of man that he should repent. Has he not said it? Is he not able to make it good? Not only is God able to make it good, but he made it good before he even wrote you the check. Are you listening to me? Because God ain't doing nothing. He already did everything that's going to ever be done. Are you picking up what I'm putting down? When God writes you a check, it ain't no question whether or not the check is going to clear, because the money is, he's the one that created the money for the check in the first place. So when God tells you something, it ain't like he got to sit back and you got to wonder whether or not it's going to happen or not. Why? Because it already happened. He's just telling you about what already happened. Are you picking up what I'm putting down? You would have a different approach towards life if you understood that. So if you understand that, and I understand that, then that means that we get together and we make it rain. Are you picking up what I'm putting down? I'm telling you right now this morning that we are unstoppable. What? Together. When we do things together. Why? Because I already know the outcome before I start. You already know what? The outcome before you start. So you don't know everything that's going to happen in between, but you know the outcome. So we get together and we start doing things right now like they already happened. Why? Because they already happened. Are you picking up what I'm putting down? Now, there are some things you got to go through, some strategies that you have to use, and that's what I'm going to teach you. Some strategies to use to work together. But first of all, let's establish the fact that we ain't doing nothing individually. Now, when Jesus was talking to his disciples, he said, okay, I want y'all to go out and break them off a piece of this Kit Kat bar. I want y'all to go teach the whole world how to act. Okay. Go out and teach the whole world how we get down. He said, but I want y'all to go out together, 2 by 2. I want y'all to go out together. Don't y'all be going out as no individual person. Now, I know you got it going on to the break of dawn. I know you ain't new here. I know you grew here. I know you get out without a frown. I know you're a bad mama jamma. I know you're a cold-blooded brother. I know you're an awesome king. I know you're an awesome queen. But let me help you out. What Jesus said to do is how we need to ride, because you ain't doing nothing by yourself. Ain't no kingdoms being built by themselves. Ain't no fortresses being built by themselves. Ain't no fortunes being built by themselves. Ain't nothing sustainable and lasting being built by an individual person. That is not going to happen. Excuse me. So there's principle after principle and law after law that restates what it is that I'm telling you. And the reason that I went from having $50 in a hotel room and being broke is because we build kingdoms together. I have a ride or die wife with Shantae, so she's ride or die. And then I have ride or die people that we work with. Why? Because we have to do this stuff together. Because one person needs to be doing one thing while the other person is doing the other thing. One person is real good at something while the other person is real good at something else. One person is real strong while the other person is real weak. Are you picking up what I'm putting down? So that's why Jesus said the gates of hell should not prevail against what? My kingdom. Okay, my church. What? He said, upon this rock, with this truth, this principle, this is the principle of building kingdoms. He says that the gates of hell should not prevail against this church. This is the truth, and I'm telling you why. Because we are a unified group of people. I want all of you, when you get your own time, I want you to read the 17th chapter of John, and I want you to read the Lord's Prayer. The Lord's Prayer is not, our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. That's how he told us to pray. The Lord's Prayer is in the 17th chapter of John, and Jesus is praying. He's like, Lord, make them one just like we one. Make them one just like we one. Lord, help them to know that everything I learned it from you. He said, Father, everything I know, make it very plain to them that I'm getting my instructions directly from you. He said, good morning, Kendra. And he said that now, since they know that, help them to work together with each other, just like me and you've been working together. You know, if Jesus and God came to a steppers party, man, you see the coldest stepping you ever seen in your life. You're like, Ricky, what are you talking about stepping? Well, if you're in from Chicago, you might not be feeling me, all right? Because in Chicago, we get it in. We know how to step. We know how to spin the partner, pick them up, down, dip, the whole nine. You dig what I'm saying? And it's a beautiful thing when you see people in concert doing the same thing together. And if Jesus came down here and he decided he wanted to do some stepping and he wanted to show y'all how to get down, you see Jesus got that glass slipper, baby. Whoop, whoop, whoop. You see some moves like Fred Astaire and Ginger Rogers. Come on, you all know it's a beautiful thing when you see people in harmony doing something. It's a beautiful thing when you hear people just harmonizing, singing. It's a beautiful thing. I'm telling you today that this is how we run kingdoms. We run kingdoms because we do things together. Why? Because this is what Jesus said. He said that Jesus knew their thoughts. So he started telling, because they were saying Jesus was casting out devils because he was the prince of devils. He was like, that's the craziest stuff you ever conjured up in your own mind. He said, let me tell you how nutty it is for me to be casting out devils if I was the father of devils, if I was a prince of devils. He's like, if I was a prince of devils, I'd be up in you creating some more devils in you. I wouldn't be getting rid of the devil out you. He said, so, and Jesus knew their thoughts. So he gonna tell them what they thinking. That's what I love about Jesus. He know what we're thinking. He said, every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation. In every city or house divided against itself shall not stand. So let me help you a little bit. You want to run a kingdom, right? Hi, Cynthia, how you doing? You want to be rich, right? You want your kids and your kids to all have something, right? Is that together? Is that right? Okay, so how in the world is that going to happen? And you ain't even on one accord in your own house. And how are we going to work collectively together if you don't even understand this one concept? And this number one concept is that your stuff got to be together at your crib first. All right. Y'all got to be unified, man. Y'all got to fight it out. Do whatever you got to do to get on one accord, because y'all are amazing together. And when you start doing things together, it's on and cracking. Are you picking up what I'm putting down? That's why the number one onslaught is at your crib. It's at your house. That's why the enemy is at your crib fighting you tooth and nail, trying to make sure that y'all don't do stuff together. Listen to me. Start doing some stuff together. Take some stepping lessons together. All right. Read some stories to one another together. Take some sign language courses together. Start doing things that make you do stuff together and stop doing competitive things. Are you listening to me? Listen, this is all out war. All right. Are you paying attention to what I'm talking about? We are in the last days. And in the last days, we got to keep chaos about the crib. How you going to keep chaos about the crib? You got to get on one accord. How do you get on one accord? You got to start doing things together on purpose, making sure that you plan together. Hey, this is how we're going to do this stuff together. Let's learn how to get on one accord because we're in a crazy, fickle, mixed up, tied up, tangled up world around us, and everybody fickle as hell. All right. They bipolar as hell. Their attitude ain't the same 2 days in a row to save their life, and they fighting and clashing with each other. And then you calling yourself want to be a build up kingdoms and empires and dynasties, and you want to have some posterity in your life, and you want to have some everlasting joy, some everlasting love, and train your kids and stuff. Your kids, you can't train your kids on what you ain't doing. All right. And when they look up and they see all this stuff, they see a house divided against itself, it can't stand. And a kingdom divided against itself can't stand. But where does the kingdom come from? It comes from the houses. Are you listening to me? Your house is a kingdom. You run a kingdom in your crib. So it's got to be some one accordness going on in your crib. Are you digging what I'm saying? Why? Because the kids watching. So they're watching everybody and watching all of our behavior. And when they see two people coming at each other like cats and dogs, then they develop the same attitude. And then they figure, what the heck? People just don't know how to get along with each other. It's just normal. So that's why you see extremely high divorce rates, because they don't work together. And the kids observe it. They say, well, they broke up. We'll break up too. The minute you start getting on my nerves, start saying some stuff to me that don't make good sense, I got two choices. Either pimp slap you or leave you. All right. And that's the attitude that people take, because that's the attitude that people observe from the people that they growing up looking at. Are you digging what I'm saying? We got to cut that stuff out. We got to come to the conclusion that, listen, we are part of an amazing kingdom. That's not how the kingdom behaves. We are in the earth, but we're not of the earth, because our citizenship didn't come from earth. Our citizenship came from what? Heaven. Why? How? Because Jesus brought our citizenship. He came, changed us, and gave us a different kind of citizenship, which means that our behavior ain't like what we observing around us, because the world is amazingly chaotic, but we are a city that's set upon a hill that cannot be hidden. Meaning that the way that we act is we teach the world how to act, because the world don't know how to act. The world don't know. They just experiment. You dig what I'm saying? They just taking a shot at it. They just shooting from the hip and all that sort of a thing. I got a question for you. What kind of principles are you building a kingdom on? Because a kingdom has to be built together. Now watch what happens when you start doing things together. Let me show you what kind of dirty pool it is when you start doing things together. All right, this is Deuteronomy chapter 32, verse number 30. And it says, how shall one chase 1,000 and two put 10,000 to flight, except their rock had sold them up and the Lord has shut them up? Let me tell you how valuable this principle is that we're talking about this morning. It says one person will put 1,000 to flight, but two people will put 10,000 to flight. Are you picking up what I'm putting down? So that means that one person is worth $100. All right. But two people together are worth what? Let's see. So one person by himself is worth $100, but two people together are worth a G. What does that mean? One person is worth 100, but two people are worth 1,000, because one will put 1,000 a flight, but two will put 10,000 a flight. So what does that mean? That means that the growth of unity is exponential. Are you listening to me? It's not addition, it's multiplication, and it is powerful. That's why you have to fight off the idea of trying to do stuff by yourself. JKLM5, good morning to you. God bless you. So you have to fight off trying to do things by yourself. Why? Because it's unprofitable. There is no kingdom building in this individual type of behavior. All right. And this want to be seen type stuff. The money is in the teamwork. Are you picking up what I'm putting down? I told some of y'all about how when I first met Shantae, she said we were playing basketball and she said a double pick. This one dude said a pick, and then Shantae said a second pick because she can hoop. So I went around a second pick and I went all the way to the hole and hit a finger roll, and wasn't nobody even around me. Why? Because she set me up for success by what? Getting in the way of my opposition. Are you picking up what I'm putting down? That's how y'all make it together. You get in the way of each other's opposition working together. You don't become one another's opposition. You get in the way of the opposition and you set picks for each other so that y'all can get rich. Set picks and get rich. Set picks and get rich. Set picks and get rich. Welcome to the Wealth Station. This is Brother Rick, your gracious host. And today we are talking about how powerful we are. What? Together. We are powerful together. And we ain't nothing separated. Let me read you that scripture one more time so you won't be feeling yourself. And Jesus said, every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation. In every city, a house divided against itself shall not stand. Ain't nobody going nowhere by themselves. Are you listening to me? You might as well learn how to get along with the people that you are with. Are you digging what I'm saying? There's a rose and a fist and glove, and an eagle flies with a dove. And if you can't be out with the one you love, go ahead, it's all right. Go ahead and love the one. Love the one you with. Man, go ahead and love the one you with. While your mind is all out here talking about, man, if I was with somebody else, I could probably get along. No, you're going to have to learn how to get along with the person you're already with. Are you digging what I'm saying? Get along with the person you're already with so you can build up what? Kingdoms. Because God, the way he works is he works through the multiplication, starting with at least two people. Are you digging what I'm saying? Now, let me tell you something. When you practice this principle, the principle will chase your foe. Are you digging what I'm saying? You all are sitting around, some of you are living way beneath your privilege. You ain't never even seen the kind of money you're supposed to have. The reason you're having the money you're supposed to have is because y'all don't do stuff together. Are you digging what I'm saying? One person got a job, the other person trying to start a business. You're like, okay, so let's use your good credit and let's hire a bunch of people to run this business. So they're like, no, I don't want to mess with my credit. You just go ahead on and try to work that thing by yourself. And then once I see it come up and all that sort of a thing, then I jump on in and throw my hat in the game. So now you lose 5 years, 10 years, 15 years that y'all could have been making money because one of y'all ain't cooperating. Why? Because one will put 1,000 a flight, but two will put 10,000 a flight. So you ain't working together, you're working against each other. Eventually that stuff is going to fold. Why? Because a house divided against itself can't stand. Are you listening to me? Back in the 1800s, Willie Lynch, he rode upon the rivers of the Mississippi River. He rode upon the edges of the Mississippi River, and he was noticing all the plantations. So he told all the plantation owners, what are y'all doing? Y'all killing y'all slaves? He's like, yeah, we kill these Negroes when we get ready. We can't stand a Negro. So he's like, hey, listen, man, them Negroes is your money. He said, so what you really ought to do, if you want to keep them in check, is you first of all don't kill your money because that's your money. Get over that. All right. I know you hate them and all that, but get over that. He said, all right, now let me tell you how to get rich. He said, just get these Negroes to hating each other and you'll be all right. He said, so how do I do that? He said, well, if they tall, tell them to hate the short ones. He said, if they're light-skinned Negro, ooh, you can really do that. The light-skinned Negroes and the dark-skinned ones, he said, you can work that number for the next 300 years. That stuff will still be going down, and it's still going down today. Don't make no doggone sense. Like we just dumb as a box of rocks. He say, so if they skinny, talk to the fat ones. If they tall, tell them to hate the short ones. If they are field Negro, tell them to hate the house Negro. If they light-skinned, definitely tell them to hate the dark-skinned ones. On and on and on and on and on. He said, and then they'll be fighting each other. So that way you can be on a slave. It can be 3 of y'all, and you can have 1,000 slaves, and they won't even revolt and knock y'all off and take y'all pistols. Excuse me. Why? Because they fighting each other. Because they are house divided against each other, and they won't stand. It's the oldest trick in the world to win wars, but it always works. Why? Because when you G for that stuff, it's like, man, it'll take a rocket scientist to figure out that you are so cold-blooded together. If you was doing stuff together, man, you blow up. You blow up big time. Why? Because Jesus said the gates of hell shall not prevail against what? My kingdom. But you're not in the kingdom when you're fighting each other because we ain't got no schism in the body. Are you digging what I'm saying? You just done made up your own kingdom, or you on the outside looking in. That's why you ain't getting this money. All right. That's why you ain't getting this money. You ain't getting this money because you're on the outside of the kingdom looking in. You ain't on the inside of the kingdom. What? Operating. When you operate inside the kingdom, you get what? The kingdom results. And the gates of hell should not prevail against you. Why? Because we are unstoppable. Not only are we unstoppable, are you listening to me? But everybody who ain't in this kingdom, they need to be worried about us. We don't need to be worried about them. Why? Because we got more power than any other kingdom on the face of the earth, because our kingdom is straight from heaven. This ain't no earthly kingdom. We live on earth, but this ain't no earthly kingdom that we operating out of. We got the #1 credentials in the world. Why? Because our credentials ain't even from the world. Are you digging what I'm saying? We are unstoppable together, and the devil know it. That's why he's like, whatever y'all do not get together. Do not get on one accord. Whatever y'all do, if y'all ever put y'all brilliant minds together and start working together, man, my kingdom will go crumbling down. So I got one #1 card, ace of spades. Is the devil. I got one #1 ace of spade I play, and that's to keep y'all arguing with each other and to keep y'all at odds with each other. And then that way, y'all combined talent will never be realized, because your individual talent, devil he don't care nothing about that. All right. He's like, you just one more rich Negro. I don't care nothing about you. The devil is like, I don't want y'all to have no combined talent. You know, you say, Ricky, why do you teach people 5, 6, 7 days a week? Because I'm concerned about us as a group. I'm concerned about us as a kingdom. I'm concerned about us as a nation. I'm concerned about us as a people. I'm concerned about our posterity. That's why. I ain't concerned about my posterity. I'm concerned about our posterity. Are you digging what I'm saying? And I don't care nothing about what the devil thinking, nobody else. That's why you ain't gonna never hear me hush until my throat can't talk no more. I done talked to y'all for a whole month, choking and gagging and spitting up coal and all that sort of thing. Why? Because I don't know what day I'm gonna leave here. All right. I just know that whatever day it's gonna be another day that I paid my rent. How about you? Because it's about this unity, baby. And the devil hates unity, and God loves it. The gates of hell shall not prevail against this kingdom, against this church. Why? Because it's founded upon what? Unity. Unity is what makes us so doggone powerful. So here, the Bible says, if one to put 1,000 to flight. Let me read it to you again. Let me read you the math of God. See, the school system is so jacked up until they don't even teach this math. You get calculus, pre-calculus. And what I taken when I got to college? College algebra, calculus. Pre-calculus I took 2 statistic classes, finite math, and nobody taught me Deuteronomy 32 and 30. The #1 class, everybody, you should learn this when you in kindergarten. Okay, what does it say again? One more time, let me read it again. How should one chase 1,000 and 2 put 10,000 to flight, except their rock had sold them up and God had shut them up? Listen to me. You like, I wish my enemies would shut up. Okay, all you got to do is get together. You say, and God has shut them up. Are you listening to me? See, you practice the principle, and then God, the principle does the work. That's what y'all don't understand about principles. That's why my book I'm writing right now is Unmovable, Unshakable, Unstoppable, Bible Principles that guarantee you success, guarantee you financial success. You ain't got no choice but to be successful, because the principle is doing the work. Look, y'all work too hard. Y'all trying to do stuff on your own, and it does not work. What works are the Bible's principles. That's what works. And one major principle in the Bible is that 2 people are electricity, let alone if 30 or 40 or 50 of us get together and do right. Just 2 people. Are you listening to me? Just 2 people. Just the 2 of us. You know what? We can make it if we try. Just the 2 of us. You and I. Hey, just the 2 of us. Building the castles in the sky. Just the 2 of us. You and I. Hey, listen. It don't take but 2 people. All right? It don't take 2 to tango, baby. And then when we get together collectively as a bigger group, watch out. Now watch these. I'm going to give you an example of these 2 brothers. And I want you to see this principle work. How God will chase your enemy when just 2 people get together. So y'all worried about your enemies. Your enemies need to be worried about you. If you practice these principles, your enemies will be worried about you. You won't be worried about your enemies. Let me give you an example of what I'm talking about. Let's go to 1 Samuel. And I'm going to read you this story about Jonathan in his garrison. They don't even say his garrison's name. It's just Jonathan and his boy. All right. It says, now it came to pass on the day that Jonathan, the son of Saul, said unto the young man that bare his arm, he said, come, let us go over to the Philistines' garrison that is on the other side. But he didn't tell his father. So let me start right there. When you're doing things together and you working in this kingdom, listen, don't tell everybody what you're getting ready to do. All right. They in the middle of a war. When you're dealing with people who ain't doing nothing and you know they scared, especially punks and cowards, you know they scary. You know it, they ain't gonna put cheese on a whopper, they can't bust a grape in a tractor. You know they'll run like the wind at the first sign of trouble. You know it, right? They posted up like Shaq. You dig? Ain't about to do nothing. Ain't about to bust a move. You know how they are. So when you're getting ready to bust a move and you're getting ready to do something, do not tell them what you're getting ready to do. Don't confide in them. You say, Ricky, come on now. You said to be open with everybody. I didn't tell you to be open with everybody. All right. The Bible don't even teach you that. The Bible teaches you to be wise. And when you get ready to make a move, and you know if you tell this punk what you're getting ready to do, that little sissy is going to try to put a monkey wrench in your program. Why? Because they're a coward. And you know that. You know cowards, you've been around them all your life. So you know I'm getting ready to do something courageous. I'm getting ready to do what we've been talking about doing for years. I'm finna bust a doggone move. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna get me a ride or die. You don't need but one. All right? You don't need but one. I'm gonna get me a ride or die, and we finna go out here and make it happen. And I'm not gonna even waste my time talking to my kinfolk and the people around me who I know all they're gonna do is start telling me you're crazy or what you're doing. Or they're gonna try to prevent me from doing it. Why? Because this is the kingdom of God, baby, and it's time to get to work. And you so powerful, you don't need the approval of a coward to do anything because you're not going to get it. Now, you listen to me. They're not going to tell you yes. They're going to try to talk you out of whatever it is that your destiny is. You got all these destinies. You got all of these journeys we're supposed to be on right now. We got ready to bust a move. And then we told the wrong person what we was getting ready to do. And now here it is 5 years later, and you still talking about doing the same thing. I know you don't make me turn around and preach to the lights. Can the light say amen? Amen up in this piece. Don't tell me I ain't down your street. I know I'm down your street. I know I'm all up in your garage right now. You got ready to do some stuff 5 years ago. And you told the wrong person what you was getting ready to do. And you really hold them in high esteem. And they ain't even doing nothing. And here it is, you gave them your game plan. And boy, by the time they got through talking, you was like, oh man, I was charged up and everything before I started talking to you. All my energy just went. Are you picking? Re-educated OG. I'm doing wonderful. How are you? I'm getting better. I'm getting better every day. Getting better every day. All right. So here they are. Jonathan and his boy. They getting ready to go break them off a piece of their Kit Kat bar. It's on and cracking. They about to go over here and beat the crap out these Philistines. But you got to understand the strategy that they use and some of what you got to go through when you're together, working together to get something accomplished. All right. So here's Jonathan, and he's with his boy. And he said the first thing they did was they said, we ain't telling daddy nothing. His own father. He had to ignore his own father. Why? Because his father, look at what his father's doing. He said, and Saul tarried in the uttermost part of Gibeah under a pomegranate tree, which is in Migron, and the people that were with him were about 600 men. So why did he ignore his own father? Why? Because his father tarried. What does that mean? Wait. He waited. You got to ignore people. It's time for you to bust a move. And you got to ignore people who tell you to what? To wait. That's what. See, he's sitting over there, and I'm like, what do you do, man? Oh, man, I'm a waiter. You a who? I'm a waiter. What do you do for a living? I just wait. You wait for what? I just wait on everything. What kind of job you got again, player? I'm a waiter. What do you do? I just wait. Wait for what? Wait for everything. I'll never do nothing. I just wait. I just sit around and wait. And then this is the way, especially religious people, excuse me. The number one excuse the religious people use when it's time to bust a move. I say religious people now, not people in the kingdom, because I'm telling you about kingdom behavior. All right. People in the kingdom, we busting moves. Religious people are always waiting. And you know what the number one excuse the religious person say? I'm waiting on who? I'm waiting on who? I'm waiting on the Lord. The Lord ain't no Lyft driver. All right. The Lord don't work for Uber. Are you picking up, putting down? The Lord ain't about to come pick you up. Talking about I'm waiting on the Lord. The Lord already told you what to do. So when the Lord tell you what to do, and then you lie and say, I'm waiting on the Lord, that ain't nothing but game. But I'm telling you right now, the only person you fooling is you. Look at your bank account. All right? Look at your bank account. Do your bank account look like that? Do your bank account look like that? Do your bank account look like, is your bank account fat? Well, if your bank account ain't fat, it's because you're sitting around talking about, I'm waiting on the Lord. And then the Lord, those words curse you because God is listening. And God is like, what type of idiot do you think I am? Why are you playing games with me like that? I already told you what to do. I ain't going to tell you what to do and then come by and pick you up and take you to do it. Are you listening to me? Now you get your butt up off your lazy behind, off your scary behind, and get to work. Sitting around here talking about I'm waiting on God. That's the worst excuse in the world. It is so pathetic. And you see, that's why religious people so broke. Are you listening to me? You got people, they sitting around reading the Bible every day, talking, praising God and all this, and hallelujah, and all this sort of thing, and broke as hell. I'm like, why you ain't got no money, man? Well, you know, man, I'm just waiting on the Lord. You ain't waiting on the Lord. Stop putting God in your mess, all right? You just a chronic procrastinator, okay? And you scary as hell because the money is right here in front of us. Go get it. What are you sitting around here talking about? I'm waiting. You waiting on what? Don't make no sense. The street dudes got more heart and moxie than God's people, and we doing right. Are you listening to me? You should be so happy to do right. You should be so in a hurry to do something right. You shouldn't be sitting around here waiting on nobody's permission to do something right. Are you listening to me? So Jonathan ain't waiting. All right, he's like, man, it's two of us. Let's go down here and get it. All right, so let's see what happens. So Jonathan ignores his father because his father's just sitting there waiting. You know, his father ain't nothing but what? A waiter. And he like, man, I ain't no doggone waiter. I'm going to go get her. So what happened? This is where we at. I'm so excited. I forgot what the story was. Okay, 1 Samuel. All right, so here we go. He says, so let me just skip on down to where they start actually going where they're going. He says, in between the two passages, so they're getting ready to go down here and get these Philistines. He said, in between the passages by which Jonathan sought to go over unto the Philistines' garrison, there was a sharp rock on the one side and a sharp rock on the other side. And the name of the one was Bozez, and the name of the other was Sina. So I looked these words up, Bozez and Sina. And I'm like, what kind of rocks was those that Jonathan and his boy was climbing through on their way to this victory? I found out that they was rocks that was full of thorns. I was like, oh, full of thorns. I'm like, oh, God sent them to go whoop somebody, but he sent them through some rocks full of thorns. You're like, what's the significance of that, Ricky? Well, you say, Ricky, I'm getting ready to go whoop some. I'm going to go win some. I'm going to go have some victories today. Okay, well, I just want to warn you. Okay, warn me about what, Brother Rick? You're going to have to go through some thorns. You're like, what are you talking about? You can get some blisters on your hands. All right. They had to climb through some rocks that had thorns in them. Are you picking up what I'm putting down? Why? Because God ain't sending you on no victory missions without putting some thorns in your side. Are you digging what I'm saying? You're like, man, Brother Ricky, if this mission I'm on, if it's really God, I mean, and we on this mission together, if it's really God, why am I feeling so thorny? Why do I have thorns in my side? Because God gonna always make sure that when you go on your mission, that there are some thorns in the way. That's why he sent Jonathan and his boy, the garrison, through what was the name of that joint again? Bozez and Sheena. He made sure that they had to climb some stuff that had some thorns in them. Why? Because God is more concerned about who you are becoming and who I'm becoming every day than he is about anything. He's more concerned about our character than he is anything. That's why when you go through and get to the other side and get your victory, that's why you still got some sense. That's why you don't go through, and the first time you get your first $1 million check, that's why you don't go someplace and smoke some rocks and end up in rehab some doggone well. Why? Because you got character. Why do you have character? Because you had to climb up some rocks that had thorns in them. Are you picking up what I'm putting down? Y'all remember Paul? Remember how Paul was praying? He said, hey, I prayed to the Lord 3 times because I had a thorn in my side. He was like, man, it was killing me. He's like, man, I went to God and I'm like, hey, Lord, I got a thorn in my side. It's killing me. Can you come on, rescue me, man? Rescue me, Lord. And God was like, man, my grace is sufficient for you, Paul. Paul was like, man. He said, so why did God do that to Paul? He said, he gave me a messenger from Satan that would buffet me. He said, because I was getting some serious revelations. It was like I was leaving earth and almost going to heaven. He said, well, remember the time Paul said I was called up to the 3rd heaven? You remember that? Y'all remember that story? He said I was called up to the 3rd heaven and I heard things unlawful to be uttered. He's like, man, I don't know if I was in my body or out my body. Are you listening to me? See, when God really blessing your life in this kingdom, this is an amazing life. And when he start blessing your life in this kingdom, you can get headstrong. You can start feeling yourself. You start thinking you're all that in a bag of chips. But you know what God does? He say, I'm going to help you out, son. I'm going to make sure I put some thorns in your side. Right now, you got people agitating the hell out of you. You're like, man, when you going to remove these people, Lord? These thorns in my side. Are you going to ever get rid of these marks? Well, I'm doing what you said to do. I ain't retaliating. I ain't pimp slap nobody lately. You did. I'm ready to come at some folk and get even with some people. God, like, no, I put those thorns on your side. That ain't the devil. That's me. You're like, you, God, you the reason for these thorns in my side? God is like, yes. So you're like, why in the world would you do that? You just gave me a mission and told me to go do something, and you got me climbing up these rocks that's full of thorns. Why would you do that, Lord? Why are you so cold-blooded? I mean, why you got it out for me like that? You told, because God is like, look, I'm making a man out of you. I'm making a woman out of you. You ain't about to get rich without no trouble. All right? I got to make sure you have trouble. I got to do that what? For your sake, not for me. Why? Because you need some act right. And in order for you to have some act right, you gotta have some thorns. That way you'll stay on your knees and keep praying. If I made it all just hunky-dory and you ain't never had nothing to pray about, you'll start tripping. You'll start idol worshiping. You start thinking you did it. You won't give me no credit no more and all of that. You'll be tripping. I know you better than you know you. God is like, I'm the one that made you. I know you better than you know you. So I love you. So what? I chasing my kids, because if I didn't chasing you, you'd be a bastard and not a child. Are you picking up what I'm putting down? God is like, hey, I got to put some thorns in your life. So stop acting like these thorns came from the devil, because they didn't. This is Jonathan and his boy, and they about to go up here and kick butt and take names. Are you picking up what I'm putting down? But they got to go through the thorns before they can. Boy, I wish I had a church up in here. Let's finish the story. I got to get out of here. I got to go see Mama today. All y'all pray for me. I'm going to check on my mother. I'm going to pray by my mother's grave today. And she passed away about a year ago. So she gave me so much fire until I got to go pay some respect to the queen today. So y'all pray for me. All right, let me finish the story. So they get up and they climb through all these thorns. Their hands all bloody and everything. They climb through these thorns. I'm talking about Jonathan and his armor bearer, and we're on the 14th chapter of 1 Samuel. Okay, he says, so they get through. He said, and Jonathan said to the man that bears armor, he said, come and let us go over the garrison of these uncircumcised. It may be that the Lord will work for us, for there is no restraint to the Lord to save by many or by few. I stopped by to tell you something this morning. Listen to me. Just two of y'all just get it together. All right? It's great for all of us to get together. Let's just talk about two of us. Let's just two of us get together. You know what? Because it don't take God that many people to do nothing. He said, because the Lord, he said, he ain't restrained. Are you listening to me? The devil cannot put a restraining order on God. I stopped by to let you know that. Why? The devil he's in court every day trying to get a restraining order on God. Right now. He's in court right now. Hey, I'm trying to get a restraining order. I'm trying to get a restraining order who? On God. Why? Because his power is so limitless. Excuse me. So now the devil like, you know what? I can't limit God. So let me see what I can do. Let me see if I can get a restraining order on you. Okay? Excuse me. You say, Ricky? You say, what do you mean by that? See, the devil wants to what? Restrain you. He know he can't stop you. So what? He gonna try to do what? Restrain you, or do what? Distract you. That's what a restraining order is. Distractions. So why? He's like, if I distract you enough, then maybe you just give up on the whole project. All right. And then you won't be doing the things to build up that kingdom, because that kingdom is unstoppable, because the gates of hell cannot prevail against that kingdom. I know that. But what I can do is I can get some restraining orders on some of the people in the kingdom if they'll allow me to do it. Are you picking up what I'm putting down? A restraining order. But God is what? Unrestrainable. You can't restrain God. You can't confine God. You can't put God in a little pickle, in a little box, and put him in your backyard and all that sort of thing. Are you digging what I'm saying? God is what? Omnipresent. Everywhere, all over the world, all at what? The same time. Paying attention to you, paying attention to me, paying attention to all of us, what? At the same time. And there is no what? Restraint of him. No what? Constraints of God. Ain't you happy about that? If I was y'all, I just take 5 minutes. I just stand up for the next couple of 30 seconds and just do some jumping jacks. If I was y'all, I just get it in. I just get it in. I just get it. Man, ain't nobody restraining me from doing nothing. Now you listen to me. The devil can't put no restraining order on me. I'd had people for years telling me to shut up. Are you listening to me? Hey, shut up, man. Nobody want to listen to you. You unqualified to be talking. Yada, 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 yada. Ain't nobody putting no restraining order on me. The only thing that's going to stop me from talking is when I die and I can't talk. And that's it. All right? You ain't restraining me while I'm alive. I don't know about y'all, but some of y'all got restraining orders that's been ordered from hell, and you're letting it work in your life. Somebody that shut you up. Are you listening to me? But there ain't no restraint with God. What you need to do is come from out of that kingdom of darkness and come on over into this kingdom of light. Because the way that we operate is that we tell it like a TIS is, and we don't give a rat's behind what nobody think. Why? Because there ain't no restraining us, all right? We're a mighty army over here, and we ain't worried about you, but you definitely need to be worried about us. Are you picking up what I'm putting down? Because Jonathan, he had a real vision of God. Ain't number two of them. They about to go over here. The Philistines stacked. They got thousands and thousands of folks over here. But watch Jonathan. They about to roll up on just two cats. They about to roll up on a whole army. And watch what happened. He says, because there ain't no restraint with God. He can save with a whole bunch of folk. He can save with a few. He said, and his armor bearer said unto him, he said, man, do all that is in thine heart. And I'm with thee according to thine heart. So his armor bearer is what? He don't want to accord with him. Listen to me, y'all. Your leader, whoever it is that's leading you, whoever it is that you're kicking it with, this is how you're going to want to accord. They're going to tell you, man, let's go get our stuff. All right. And you might not be able to see the whole strategy that they have and all of that. You might not be able to see it, but you have to agree with it before you can even see the strategy. All right. Let me help you. Let me help you. Let me help you. Let me show you how kingdoms are built. All right. Y'all sitting around talking about, hey, man, when I'm fully understand your strategy, then I'll roll with you. That ain't how this go. That's not how this go. If you blessed enough to have a leader around you, somebody that's got the balls to go do something, that's ready to bust a doggone move, and you want to sit around here and size up what he's talking about until you understand fully what's going on. No, you get in the middle of it, and then you start understanding what's going on, because that's what faith is. You get in the middle of it, and then you start to understand. You got to have some faith in somebody to get rich. You got to have some faith in somebody to run kingdoms. You got to have faith in somebody. You got to have somebody around you who got more sense than you, that's got more of a vision than you got, and you got to follow that vision. And then once you get in the middle of it, you'll start understanding what's going on. Are you picking up what I'm putting down? Are you picking up what I'm putting down? Good morning, Brian. How are you? Listen, one of my truck, my old truck, the engine went out in it. I just left doing a real estate deal. I just got a check for $11,000. So my truck went out. So I was like, praise God. My truck went out on the same day I got this $11,000 check. I don't know how much it's going to cost, but the engine ain't going to cost $11,000. I got cash, baby. I can pay for the whole thing. Why? Because money answers all things. Now, some folk would have been talking about, man, every time I get a check, here comes some more trouble. I ain't got that attitude. My attitude is that, hey, Lord, it rained on the just and the unjust. You know, sooner or later, these little raggedy cars break down and all of that. I'm glad it broke down after I got a check. So I called the people and told it to the joint. So I called the people at the joint. And I said, hey, y'all can put the engine in for me? They're like, cool. All right, cool. I'm coming over to check on the car. They said, your car ain't out here, Rick. I'm like, yes, it is. I had it towed over there. I had it towed over there on the weekend. It's Monday. They're like, no, it ain't here. I said, man, I got an Uber. So I went over there and I got an Uber. When I pulled up, the car wasn't there. So the GPS on the Uber said, hey, go to the corner and turn right. I said, man, follow that GPS. So he turned right. It said, turn right again. I said, man, follow that GPS. It turned right. I said, man, follow that GPS. And it turned right again. Man, here go my car sitting in another parking lot, right around the corner from where it's supposed to be sitting, because the dude who towed it, the GPS told him where to go, and he didn't put it in the right place. Now, how did I find all that out? I found that out after I got in the Uber and I went on over there. I wouldn't have known nothing if I had just sat around talking about, man, why ain't my car where it's supposed to be, crying like a little girl? Man, my car ain't, it might move my car, man. My car ain't even where it was. Yeah. Some of y'all, that's the problem. Some of the problem, you complaining about the process. Just get in the middle of the process and you'll find out what's going on as you go, because faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. For by it the elders obtained a good report. Through faith we understand that the worlds are framed by the word of God, so the things which are seen were not made of things which do appear. You do the thing that produces the thing, baby. Do you understand that? Your life is your production. Are you listening to me? Hey, listen, tell everybody come to your crib, sit down. We're finna watch a production of who? Of you. All right? Who produced it? You. You are the producer of what happens to you. Why? Based on your what? Your faith got to be the director of your movie. Are you listening to me? It directs you on what's going on. You get in the middle of it, and then you start finding out what the strategy is. You don't find out the strategy until you get in the middle of things because you stepped out on what? On faith, and now you can work the doggone number. So here's Jonathan. He know God gonna deliver him because he know it's a stacked fight. You dig what I'm saying? He says, so now let's do a strategy. Now that we out here in the middle of things, because now God is gonna teach us how to strategize. Now notice, God didn't teach him no strategy until he went through the Bozez and Sheena. Where's that? That's where all those thorns was. So now his hands all cut up and stuff. Now he got what? Skin in the game. Are you listening to me? God don't give you no strategy until you do what? Until you get skin in the game. They literally got skin in the game because Jonathan and his armor bearer had to climb through rocks with thorns on them just to get to this point where we at right now. So they literally got what? Skin in the game. Some of y'all want to get rich. You ain't got no skin in the game. Some of y'all want to be popular. You ain't got no skin in the game. Some of y'all want to be influential. You ain't got no skin in the game. Some of y'all want a great marriage. You ain't got no skin in the game. You got to get some skin in the game, baby. Me and Shantae have made it through these 10 years, breaking up, getting back together, breaking up, getting back together. How? Because we both put some what? Some skin in the game. Are you digging what I'm saying? Our hands are bloody. What? With climbing up all of these thorns and stuff that we both had to get through to learn how to do what? Get along with each other. Why? So we can dominate, baby. You were born to dominate, not each other. You was born to dominate the land, the air, and the water. You was born to work together to dominate, not to work against one another and trick off all your time. Are you digging what I'm saying? Excuse me. All right, so here we are. We're coming down the home stretch here. I got to get out of here. I got to go check on mama. All right. So here we are. We're coming down the home stretch. So here's Jonathan. And let's check out what happens. All right. So let's see how this fight goes. Now watch the strategy that happens. What happens when you got skin in the game. Watch how God give you a strategy. He says, so his armor bearer said to do everything that's in your heart. He cooperated. Then Jonathan said, behold, we will pass over unto these men, and we will discover ourselves to them. He says, well, here's the strategy right here. The strategy is that we're about to come up out of hiding. All right. I stopped by to tell you today that you got a ministry to do. You got work to do. You got kingdoms to build. You got companies to start with. You got to come out of hiding. Some of y'all been in a witness protection program too doggone long. The first strategy God gave Jonathan was, he said, we're going to show ourselves to these cats. Now, the reason you ain't showing yourself to whoever you want to show yourself to is because you think you ain't got no win, but you ain't listening to the principles of God. The principles of God say, one, to put 1,000 in flight, and two, to put 10,000 in flight. So here it is. They say in so many words, let's go get our money, man. You know, they like, let's go get our money. Here it is over here on the other side. Let's go on the other side over here and get this money. He said, so what we're going to do? He said, this is what we're going to do. First thing we're going to do is we're going to show ourselves. All right. We're going to come up what? Out of hiding. Some of y'all supposed to be live every day, just like I be live. Some of y'all got that gift. All right. You say, so yeah, Brother Ricky, but I just don't want to come live because of what people will say about me. Man, to hell with that. All right. It's time for you to do what? To show yourself. Are you listening to me? He told Jonathan, say the first thing we're going to do, first part of our strategy is that we're going to show ourselves. Show ourselves to who? The enemy. You say, Ricky, I don't want to expose myself to the enemy. Expose yourself to the enemy. All right. Because your enemy ain't nobody. Are you listening to me? Little poop butts. Worried about them. Don't be worried about nobody because they need to be worried about you, baby. Are you listening to me? Because you strapped, you're loaded, you're carrying 6 in the holster. I'm talking about spiritually speaking. Now you dig what I'm saying? So here's Jonathan. They know they're going to win. They know the fight is already won before they even start fighting. They know that. All right. They know that he got this much faith and confidence in God that they're going to win this battle. So you know what he says? He said, we're going to show ourselves to the enemy. Now watch what happens when they show themselves to the enemy. Now watch what happens, because your enemy, they don't understand what kingdom you're in, and they don't understand, because if they knew, they'd be fighting with you instead of against you. So they don't understand they ain't got no win. They think they got some win, so that's why they opposing you right now. But check it out. Check out what happens. He said, we're going to pass over to these men, and we're going to show them ourselves. All right? He said, if they say unto us, tarry till we come to you, then we will stand still in our place, and we will not go unto them. He said, but if they say thus, come up unto us, then we will go up, for the Lord have delivered them into our hand, and this should be a sign unto us. Look at this strategy. Look at this strategy. This strategy is so phenomenal until Jonathan said, listen, if they tell us to sit where we at, they coming after us, we'll sit over here. We'll just preserve our energy. Why? Because we're going to kick their butt if they come to us. Then he said, you know what, though? If they say come on over here, thinking they finna ambush us and all that, then you know what? We'll go over there and kick their butt over there. It don't matter. We'll kick their butt here or we'll kick their butt there. It don't even matter. Why? Because God is the butt kicker in this town, and he's the butt kicker in that town, and he's the butt kicker in this town, and he's the butt kicker what? In that town. And you know what we doing around here? We kicking butt and taking names, baby. Jonathan said, listen, all we need to do is get out here with our boots, baby. Strap our boots up because we're going to kick butt and take names because we got a kingdom and the gates of hell shall not prevail against it. So Jonathan said, listen, if they come to us, we're going to whoop them. If they tell us to come to them, we're going to whoop them. Bottom line is they about to get whooped. They ain't about to get out of this. All right. Listen, you should be glad when your enemies show up. You know why? Because you can't whoop an invisible enemy. So it's good when they show up. So it don't make no difference how they show up. They can show up until you come at them, or they show up and tell you they coming after you. It don't matter. Why? Because you're fighting a fixed fight, baby. Because you're fighting with what? Principles. And the principle is what's going to beat down your enemy, not you. So you just stay what? You stay up under the protection of principles and watch God make it rain. So here they are. So that's the strategy, okay? And I got to get through with this. We got 5 minutes left. So this is the strategy. He says, so what happened? He said, but if they say unto us, come unto us, we're going up to them because that's a sign. He said, and both of them discovered themselves unto the garrison of the Philistines. Notice both of them. It wasn't one of them hiding and the other one. Now they both together doing things together right here, showing themselves to the enemy out front. Here we are, baby. Signed, sealed, delivered. I'm yours. He said, behold, the Hebrews come forth out of the holes where they hid themselves. Here is the brass of the enemy. The enemy is like, look at them, look, they done came up out their holes where they've been hiding. See, they feeling themselves. See, your enemy is feeling himself right now because he think you hiding where you ain't hiding. You just coming out with your strategy right now. All right. So now they think when you come out, now they think you've been hiding. Now you just been strategizing. Are you digging what I'm saying? He said, and the men of the garrison answered Jonathan, and his armor bearer said, come up unto us, and we will show you a thing. And Jonathan said unto his armor bearer, he said, come after me. He said, for the Lord have delivered them into the hand of Israel. What happened? What happened? What happened? They went up there, just two brothers. Listen to me good. Just two people. They went up there. They beat the crap out of them Philistines. What? The first thing they did was they killed 20 men by themselves. 20, they knocked off 20 cats. Well, what does that mean? One will put 1,000 to flight, but two will put 10,000. One person get up, he might have knocked off two of them, but two of them got together and they knocked off 20. I'm teaching you today that the gates of hell should not prevail against you if you do things what? Together. Together we are powerful. And you don't need no whole bunch of folk. You don't need no whole bunch of folk. Let me tell you something. I would rather have one person with me that stomped down like 4 flat tires and we making it rain than to have 10 perpetrators around me and they really on the other side. Are you digging what I'm saying? Run your kingdom like a kingdom. Run your kingdom the way that Jesus ran his. Are you listening to me? Jesus was like, look, in his heyday, he was like, listen, we too deep over here. We got too many people hanging out. He said, except you eat my flesh and drink my blood, you ain't got nothing to do with me. Why? Because he was ready to downsize and fire some perpetrators. He said, so if you don't eat my bread, if you don't eat my flesh and drink my blood, you ain't got nothing to do with me. So the Bible said, them cats say, this dude is a cannibal, man. They said, we out of here. So they all like, peace. And they took off. He was like, good. Then he looked at his boys. He said, what about y'all? He said, y'all want to break too? Because y'all can bounce too if you want to. So Peter said, man, where we going? You got the words to eternal life. We down. We stomp down with you like 4 flat tires. Jesus was like, cool. Now we can ride. All I need is y'all 12. We get rid of Judas. Now we can really get down. So what's my point with you all? You got to be together. Together with small numbers is more important than chaos with a whole bunch of fake folk around you. Are you listening to me? This is how kingdoms are run. You don't need no whole bunch of people. You just need people what? On one accord who are together. Are you listening to me? Come on, I'm going to pray for you right now. That God will bless you today, that you'll come up out of here and you'll have strategy with at least one person and that y'all will strategize and that y'all get up and that y'all would kick butt and take names and understand who you are and whose you are and the way you ought to be behaving, and kick butt and take names and do it on one accord. Come on, I'm going to pray for your Father in the name of Jesus. You see these amazing men, you see these amazing women, you see these kings and queens, and you know together they would break off a piece of that Kit Kat, bah, if they just would get together and do things on one accord. Lord, I speak in the name of your Son, Jesus Christ. I repeat back the words that you said to us. You told us that you will withhold no good thing from us if we just walked upright. And it's right. The right thing for us to do is to do things together. Lord, bless us with unity. Bless us with togetherness. Lord, bless us to have one another's back. Help us to hold one another, Lord, so if one of us falls, the other one falls. Help us to rejoice with them to rejoice and weep with them that weep. And Lord, help us to get rid of this individualistic behavior and attitude. Help us to reverse and rebuke that curse, Lord, that curse of individuality. Lord, help us to rebuke that curse of slavery, the William Lynch mentality, Lord, that was taught us 300 years ago and is still prevalent to this day. We rebuke that mess. We rebuke that chaos and that confusion and that witchcraft and that warlockism. And we speak nothing but the word of power and truth and the kingdom into the lives of my brothers and sisters. In Jesus' name, amen. Y'all go out today, kick butt, and take names. It's been a plum pleasing pleasure as well as a privilege. I love you. It ain't nothing y'all can do about that. And remember that stellar is as stellar does. God bless you. Have a phenomenal day. Don't take no prisoners. Go get them. Go get them. Go get them. We so powerful together. God bless y'all. God bless you. God bless you. God bless you. God bless you. God bless you all. Have a wonderful day. God bless you. God bless you. Have a wonderful day. Go with power. Go with power. Go with power. You are blessed. You are